In the Ann Arbor Public Schools, we will continue to hold student, staff, and school safety as our top priority. We are all keenly aware of the distress experienced by our students, staff, and parents following the Oxford tragedy last week. We understand the disruptive impact of this situation on learning and on the fundamental need our students, staff, and all of us have to experience our time at school as a safe and secure place for connection, learning, and growth each day. So the purpose of this message today is to share additional information to follow up on the events of last week following the Oxford tragedy. We will share our next steps and more specific information about the practices and procedures we consistently use in the AAPS to assess and support students and families when concerns emerge at school. What we are doing together as a community to support students and staff at school. Our consistent work every day is to support our students, staff, and families in the ongoing work to keep our classrooms and schools as safe as possible.
While emergency response protocols such as ALICE are critically important at the time of an emergent situation, in addition to preparedness for an emergency, our work and focus is always to intervene much earlier in the process when concerns emerge with students at school. The following update will include information on protocols when those concerns emerge, ongoing support for our students and next steps we are taking in schools this week, reminders and guidance for students, and what our AAPS parents and community can do to support. So as we move through this week, we will continue to follow up on concerns and take steps to support our students while also revisiting our safety protocols at each school. The numerous social media posts of concern we were addressing last week have been initially processed by our building administrators, and those of concern remain under investigation with authorities at this time. Our investigation processes include working directly with law enforcement, and while we cannot share details regarding specific cases, I can state clearly that we will consistently follow through on these investigations, partnering with law enforcement through the investigation, including the referral of cases for prosecution.
We are proud of the work we do every day to support students. We openly take on the responsibility to triage students experiencing trauma, emotional distress, and mental health challenges. Whether an individual's action signals self-harm or harm to others, we are fortunate to have well-trained teams of support staff who can assess the immediate needs of students.
We will always act on reports of concerning behaviors or alleged threats. We all recognize that the suffering of a student experiencing trauma, emotional distress, or mental health challenges may not be outwardly apparent. This is why we encourage student peers, teachers and staff, and parents to report observed signs that a student may display, as well as report on students who may be withdrawn from their typical affect.
Assessing and triaging a student exhibiting concerning behaviors is always a team effort. In the Ann Arbor Public Schools, we have well-trained teams of support staff who will use our assessment protocol to triage a student's current state of well-being. Our assessment protocol was developed in partnership with the University of Michigan School of Psychiatry, Community Mental Health, and the University of Michigan Psychological Emergency Services. Often, Community Mental Health crisis team supports our school teams in assessing the immediate needs of our students.
Once we begin the process of assessing a student exhibiting concerning behaviors, the student remains in our care and supervision as we do: 1, contact parents and guardians to establish for the parents and guardians the urgency and concern we have for supporting the student. 2, gather information on already established counseling or therapy that parents and guardians have in place for the student or prior counseling or therapy provided for the student. 3, assess with parents, guardians, or provide to them, based on our assessment, the risk of self-harm or harm to others. And 4, place the student on emergency removal for the time it takes a medical or healthcare professional to evaluate the student's well-being and for law enforcement to assess the access to weapons or drugs.
Beginning today and over the coming days, we will take some time in our classrooms across the AAPS school district to discuss and collectively process last week's events and to review our safety and security measures in each school. Additionally, we will review some pertinent safety measures that you can do to assist us with creating a safe school environment. Our administrators, counselors, and our support staff will be and are always available during school for support of individuals in need. We understand that many of you are experiencing anxiety and responding to these events in different ways. We want to reassure you that we are and will continue to do everything within our means to ensure a safe school environment for all of our students and staff.
Most importantly, we hope to communicate to all of our students that we are here for you. Each and every one of you have people here who care about you and love you just the way you are. If you are ever struggling with anything, please reach out. If you can't reach out, please at least be willing to accept the hand that is reaching out towards you. At the elementary level, we continue to care for and be responsive to children in developmentally appropriate ways. This includes reminding students of our school safety measures, making time to talk and listen to the perspectives and questions of students, observing children for signs of distress, maintaining school routines, and of course, communicating with parents.
It is important to share information when there are concerns. In addition to parents and school supports, OK to Say is another resource for students and families. Additionally, at the middle school level, we ask that students refrain from engaging in any social media or Google group chats regarding school safety. Oftentimes, there are participants in these group chats who are not identified and who may not know our students. Now is also a good time for parents to review their own social media guidelines and expectations with their students. We have a well-developed process to intervene and support students and families when concerns arise. And we know an effective process of support includes everyone in the school community. Please, if you have concerns about your child or another, reach out to an adult at the school to make us aware of issues you observe.
So when you see something, say something. Go to a trusted adult or report to OK to Say. We know that you, as student and parents, often know what's happening with our student body and on social media before the adults in school do. Please partner with us and do your part to keep our schools safe by reporting anything that causes concern or raises red flags with you.
See something, say something. This is certainly an important message for students and parents. However, let us add some of the don'ts for when students or parents find or hear about concerning social media posts and other threats. Law enforcement will respond when we report concerns to them. And what we've learned was that the reposting of social media threats and the reposting and spreading of misinformation overwhelmed theirs and our capacity to discern what was credible and non-credible.
So we remind students, parents, and all stakeholders, do not repost concerning social media posts and other threats. Do not spread misinformation or information that has not been confirmed by the school or law enforcement. We will directly work with law enforcement and we will communicate to students and parents anything we find to be credible. And we will act to protect the health and safety of our school community if we have a credible threat.
In the Ann Arbor Public Schools, our schools have building level and district-wide security protocols in place. The AAPS has used the Alice Intruder Protocol for years, working alongside the multi-agency law enforcement team that supports and coordinates school emergency preparedness in Washtenaw County. Over the coming days, we will take some time in our classrooms across our district to review these safety and security measures. We know that while discussing these events and practicing drills may create anxiety for some among our students and staff, research shows that practice helps individuals release anxiety and provides them with the tools they need. We will remain in close communication as we work together toward our shared goal of keeping our students and staff connected and safe at school. Thank you for your support of our students and staff and of the Ann Arbor Public Schools.